Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network with your host, Will Huckaby and Mika Villas.
And welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time of the week. It's time for the Wrestling Nerdcast. As usual, I'm your host, the AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, the World Wrestling Grand Prix Champion, the Disrespectful Intellectual, the Southern Gentleman, the Morning Star, the Incredible Huck. Because I almost messed up my own introduction. I am a national treasure and a reality TV star. The Incredible Huck, Will Huckaby, chilling once again, in Casa de Huckaby. As usual, I'm joined by my co-host. She is the lover of waffles, the voice of the speech impediment, the receiver and lover of all things unsolicited. She is Miss Chicago Win. She's the Adonis of affection, one half of the world's cutest commentary team, which means you can find her, you can listen to her voice not only on this podcast, but on several other podcasts and local indie professional wrestling shows. She is Mrs. Hashtag What That Mouth Do, Mika Villas. What's up, Mika?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Same soup, different bowls, another week. A lot of things going on in professional wrestling this week. A lot of things happening in professional wrestling this week. I really don't want to talk about WWE, but, things happen.
They make you talk about them, even when you don't want to. They just do something that just, you have to say something or you're not doing this service correctly.
I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Like, I didn't think it was possible, man, but Vince McMahon has figured out a way to have his own version of WrestleMania on, like, every continent in America. Like, they have WrestleMania, which is usually held in America, and then they have the greatest Royal Rumble in the Middle East, and now they have this super huge super show in Australia or whatever. Like, he's figured out a way to just, make money on every continent.
Vince has taken the whole territory system and made it worldwide. He has literally turned the world into his own personal territory, where in America, back in the day when he bought all this, stuff and look at the history and broke up the territories, well, now he's like, you know what? I kind of like the whole deal. Let me go worldwide because nobody can stop him. He is a juggernaut of the industry. The WWE is a machine that will go into your territory and eat you alive if you do not play ball. So it is best for everybody in all the world to play ball with him, especially if you are doing something in wrestling.
I don't know about that because, like we were talking last week and stuff, the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes, they still got all in, and unlike WWE, they was able to sell out a 10,000-seat arena in Chicago in less than 30 minutes. And I really did want to, but I did watch some of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and I knew I wasn't going to be impressed. I wasn't impressed. But, there was a couple of empty seats. I noticed there were some empty seats in the building.
Oh, you saw empty seats, but you did not listen to Michael Cole. We are sold out here in Chicago. He made a point to say that a couple times, actually.
Yeah, I guess their version of sold out and the rest of the world's version of sold out is two totally different versions of sold out.
Again, McMahon writes his own story or his own history. He said he sold out. He sold out. Who's going to prove him wrong? Nobody.
The TV. But someplace that was sold out, once again, the Tokyo Dome, Curtain Hall, New Japan Pro Wrestling, for Dominion. Crazy, crazy, crazy show. They've had a bunch of other crazy shows and stuff this weekend. I'm kind of mad for the simple fact that Michael Elgin won the New Japan Pro Wrestling never openweight title at Dominion, and then at their first show right after Dominion, he lost it right back to Goto, which kind of hurt my feelings, but it's whatever.
Why did your feelings get hurt? I mean, was he supposed to be the never openweight champion forever?
Well, I mean, Michael Elgin, I'll admit that when Michael Elgin first started going to New Japan, I was not a fan of his Japanese work, his work in Japan. But over the last year, he has slowly won me over to the point that I actually popped when he went over and won the never openweight title. And then I was just so disappointed to see them give him such a very short title reign for one reason or another. I don't know, but they were sold out, unlike Vince McMahon. So that's the only reason why I brought that up.
They are always sold out. There is a huge, huge following in Japan for Japanese wrestling or just New Japan in general, but I think a lot of the fans over there just respect the product and the athletes so much. It does not matter where they are. They will travel, they will go, they will spend their hard-earned yen to be in the audience. So yeah, I mean, Michael Elgin losing aside, it was still a good show. And like you said, sold out. So kudos to them as per usual, I guess.
Yeah, once again, like I said, I don't really like talking about WWE. We both know I'm not the biggest WWE fan on this podcast whatsoever. But I'm happy to see that I was right, that Alexa Bliss won the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match and then cashed in her Money in the Bank contract and stuff, and is now once again the Raw Women's Champion. Out of all the things that was supposed to happen during that pay-per-view, that was like the two things that I had correct, and I can't wait until this Thursday's podcast when I talk to Stevie J and the Great Sudoku and stuff, and be like, "Ha! I told you of all the things that was going to happen, that was going to happen. Ha 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 ha."
Can't just be humble in your victory, huh? You got to rub it in.
No, I'm not going to be humble. I'm a professional wrestler. We don't do humble. What's wrong with you?
Jesus Christ. So yeah, the whole Alexa Bliss winning, I guess no big shock, because considering that you had a lot of bodies in there extra who you knew were not going to win, like your Lana, like your Ember Moon. I think the cash in for me was a surprise that night on Nia. I thought perhaps she would wait to cash in on a injured Ronda Rousey and deal her first loss in her first or second match in the WWE. But apparently, Nia was the easier target. And Bliss went to work and did some damage there with that case. Only the third person in WWE history to cash in on the same night. So congrats to her.
No, I knew it was going to happen and stuff, and I knew they weren't going to have her lose to Ronda Rousey. Like, there's no way they're going to have Rousey lose to Alexa Bliss. Not this early in her WWE career. They're going to protect her like they protect Brock Lesnar. Something else, I'd like to send best wishes. Speaking of WWE and people not being on the show, best wishes to Big Cass.
You can't even future endeavor him. He didn't get future endeavor. He just gone.
He did not get future endeavor, which is like, what in the world could have happened to where like they didn't even give him the general, hey, they decided to part ways. We wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. Like, he didn't get the best of luck in your future endeavors at all. Like, what do you think? What could have happened that was so bad?
That's
where
somebody,
they were like, no, just get out of here.
That's somebody being petty as hell, first of all, because even when you fuck up, you get future endeavor. Like, hey, he just got caught smoking weed, future endeavor. Like, okay, fine, but I don't know who he pissed off or what he possibly could have done other than maybe, I don't know, politics for Enzo. That probably...
No, because even Enzo, when he got fired or let go or whatever, they still wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. He still got future endeavors.
What I'm saying is, I can't figure out what Cass did to earn a, goodbye, see you never, because that's pretty much what that sounds like.
That's exactly what that sounds like. Like, no. This ain't for you, Daddy. This ain't for you.
I don't know if literally he pissed off somebody to the point where, because he was in a program with Daniel Bryan, and we know Bryan is high on the totem pole, so to speak. Easygoing guy, but perhaps Cass said something to the wrong person or people. Maybe Vince himself was back in Gorilla, and Cass maybe said something after this pay-per-view showing in his match, and Vince was like, you know what? Just you wait till Monday, sir.
That was how did you think about that match?
Honestly, I fast-forwarded through it. I didn't watch it. Big Cass holds no... He held, I'm going to speak of him in the past tense because he doesn't exist anymore. He held no interest at all for me. There was nothing I wanted to see. Big Cass was Test Jr. That's it. If he wasn't the second coming of Test, it's almost like they dug up some DNA from this dead kid, threw it in a box, and waited the right time to dig him out, put him in a test tube, put him in there with a little midget, and they just, hey, here's Test.
I was going to say, like, is it the fact that, you realize that Cass was nowhere near as entertaining without Enzo?
Not so much even so entertaining athletically speaking, as a big man, he left a lot to be desired. I don't expect somebody his size to be, running around doing flips and all this other stuff. But he moved like molasses, and it was horrible.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that for two reasons. One, Donovan Dijak. Is he, and of course, Big Cass. I don't even know if he was legitimately 7 feet tall, but
No,
he's over 6'6", with the same as Donovan Dijak. And Donovan Dijak, who is now on the roster at NXT and stuff, is super athletic and can move like a cruiserweight. Just being big nowadays, I was talking about this at this weekend actually. Just being big is no excuse anymore to in professional wrestling. Like, you just can't be big, or you just can't be tall. Like, you have to be big and tall and athletic, or big and tall and agile, or big and tall and be able to talk on the mic. You just can't look imposing. There has to be more to you than just your look now.
We talk about Dijak, Keith Lee, these big guys who are super athletic, and honestly and truly, they're not the norm. They're not regular. They are extraordinary in their move set, in their movement. When you see a guy that big doing the moves that they do, you stop. You take notice. You have to pay attention to them. Cass did not do anything in his moveset that made me stop and pay attention to him. The only thing I liked about Cass was his long hair. That's it. I like White Boys with long hair. Outside of that, I could give a crap about him.
I think the problem with Cass is the fact that he wasn't a professional wrestler before he came to NXT. He was a model, or he played basketball. I think he played college basketball before he came to NXT. So he had no idea what this business was about, and he really didn't have a time to really grow in this business and stuff. So, I mean, that's why I'm really against the NXT system, or NXT just picking, athletes from other sports and trying to make them professional wrestlers, because it takes time to get this business into an
your girl Alexa Bliss is homegrown NXT, not a wrestler outside of the NXT system.
She is the exception that proves the rule. Because name any other homegrown, non-indie professional wrestler that came from NXT on the main roster right now who's as good as she is.
I almost said something really dirty. Liv Morgan. But yeah, no. Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose is coming along. I'll give it to her.
Hold on. Wasn't she on the Indies?
No, hell no.
What did she do before she came to NXT?
She looked like a stripper. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm in a mood tonight. I'm sorry. No, Mandy Rose was a fitness model. She's the Trish Stratus path, pretty much. Fitness model, interesting.
So is Alexa Bliss.
Right, but again,
so maybe WWE just needs to look at the Miss Fitness Olympia for the new future divas.
They were doing that already, and it did not quite work out. So now they had to go to the Indies to pull real talent, and they're mixing them in with their model girls who really can take bumps and actually want it. So they're exceptions to the rules, yes, but I will concur to you that Cass did not have this whole wrestling thing down, and as far as growth goes, he didn't have enough time on his own. Together with a mouthpiece, he would have been fine. Once he lost his mouthpiece, his interest dwindled to zero, and he probably opened his mouth and again got a foot or a pink slip shoved into it, because you have to watch your P's and Q's on the WWE. You can't just go ticking off the wrong people in the right places.
Exactly. I mean, and that's another thing that's bad about professional wrestling, is that the simple fact that it's so much politics involved, and a lot of times, especially, I'm pretty sure once you get to the level of WWE, it's, if you mess up, nobody's going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to let you drown and make your own mistakes, and nobody's going to be like, and nobody really wants you to be successful because they want your spot. So hopefully, he takes this as a learning experience. He goes on the Indies. He can go to Japan, whether it's Noah, All Japan, New Japan. They'll pick him up for the simple fact of his size. I'm not gonna lie, they love guys of his size. Look
I
at
hope they
Cody.
don't waste their money. I really don't. Again, it is very hard to take something like that and make it into something that's going to put asses in seats. It really is. So if New Japan, Noah, whoever has the magic formula to do that, then congratulations. But I will not spend a dime to see Big Cass. Like his boy Enzo, did you hear about his booking fee?
$7,000. Was it $6,000 or $7,000?
$7,000 booking fee. The crack is real, and it is whack.
I guarantee. Everybody's talking about, Enzo wants 7,000. Well, guess what? So did Ryback. I heard at one point Ryback wanted like 10 or 15,000, and people paid that shit. So don't even make it seem. I hate when promoters and wrestlers are like, "Oh, nobody's gonna pay $7,000 for Enzo." Yes,
nobody
they will.
should pay $7,000 for Enzo.
I'm gonna tell you
They might, but they shouldn't.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. No professional wrestler deserves to make that much money on the indie. Not Ric Flair, not Sting. None of these. Nobody deserves to make as much as the average person makes in a month and one night. Nobody deserves to make that much money. They weren't making that much. Guaranteed, Ric Flair was not making that much money on the indie. Back in his heyday. You know what I'm saying? He might have been making, $2-3 grand maybe a night, but. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody, there's no way if I was a promoter, I would pay anybody, $5, $6, $7, $10,000 for one show.
But you got these people out here with these money marks backing them. I don't want to call out particular promotions, but there are some that will spend that money and maybe not recoup it, but who knows? I mean, they might recoup it based on other names on the show. He just happens to be that quote unquote headliner,
No, I'm gonna tell you right now. I guarantee, if I see anybody talking junk about booking Enzo, and then I see them on their show, I'm gonna call them out. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I will call them out and be like, "Hey, weren't you just talking junk about people booking Enzo for $7 grand, and now all of a sudden he's on your show?" I will call them out. Yeah.
You do that. I'm waiting. Like you said, they probably will. I said they shouldn't, but they probably will. We'll see. I think we look south. We look south, and Enzo's going to get a booking. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh. How far south are we looking?
North of the border, south of us. There might be a tent involved.
There might be a what?
Tent involved.
A tent?
T-E-N-T, tent. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and say it might be north of you, but west of me. He's gonna show up.
Geography night tonight, y'all.
I know, right?
Break out a map of the United States, kids, and point to your indie wrestling.
Virginia. He's going to get booked in Virginia at this promotion in Virginia that always books Kevin Nash and all these. Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about.
I don't know nothing.
I know nothing, Jon Snow. Okay.
Hey, we got a Game of Thrones reference in the show. All right, let's switch topics because I think that we're really starting to get off topic and stuff. So WWE, the European, they're doing a tour of Europe and stuff. They got the European, the European tournament, once again, the UK tournament, once again, something like that. Help me out, Mika.
Yes, the WWE UK tournament is back. I want to say in rotation, but it is back. Their tournament again to not crown a champion, to find someone to be the number one contender to Pete Dunne's UK championship. So they are in their brackets, their elimination style. They have 16 new competitors, or 16 competitors, because some of them are names that we know or know through the WWE, all vying to be able to face Pete Dunne.
Can I say that although I'm very proud of our mutual friend Danny Burch getting a shot on the NXT TakeOver, I'm very disappointed that they didn't have him in this UK tournament once again. Can I just go ahead and say that?
You can absolutely say that you're disappointed that he wasn't there, but I believe it would have been difficult for him to be there considering they're taping it right about now, and he was in the NXT TakeOver Chicago. So
they have planes. Vince has a jet.
They have planes. They have a jet. But they want to establish him now, I believe, as a tag team competitor, and to break him off once again into that tournament does not fit into their plans. It would have been great to see him again. It would have been great to watch a quote-unquote redemption story of him in the tournament, him getting, further, and them being able to show the bloody mess he was the first go-around. but apparently, we're storytellers and they're not, or we're not storytellers and they are. I don't know.
I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure we're storytellers and they're not. I don't know. I'm surprised that they've done the second UK tournament, but they haven't done a second Cruiserweight Classic or a second Mae Young Classic. That's just amazing to me. You know what I'm saying? That they've done another UK tournament, but they haven't done a second Cruiserweight tournament yet.
Well, again, the UK tournament is quote-unquote easier for them because they can go into the United Kingdom. They're in the Royal Prince Albert Hall, which is a huge deal and venue.
So it's not Wembley Stadium.
But again, they're doing the right thing by not overbooking themselves, meaning why rent Wembley Stadium and maybe not sell out when you get the Royal Albert Hall or whatever and you sell 10,000 seats and it's limited and it's supply and demand. Everybody wants to be there, but everybody can't, which means they have to go ahead and buy the network.
Does the Prince Albert Hall, does that hold 10,000?
I don't know how many people exactly, but I'm just saying it's less than Wembley Stadium, way less than Wembley Stadium. So again, supply and demand. Everybody wants that ticket. It's a hot ticket. It's going to sell out. Everybody can't be there, which means go buy the network. It's also a small enough venue where it's more intimate. It's kind of like an indie show. You know what I'm saying? Where you can see the first 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of people on camera and in the ring. You can feel that energy, and they can show that energy on television, where if you're in a stadium, you lose it. You have to go to those weird damn crowd shots that they do, and people are like, oh, my God, that's so stupid and ridiculous, where literally they got the 1-2 cam, and you can see people react in the background of the action, and that kind of gets everybody going. And, again, it's almost like WWE is copying the indies. They're doing indie-style wrestling.
Without a doubt. Like, if you know this, and I think I've said this before, is that NXT and WWE are out indie wrestling. They've stolen they've stolen all the great talent off the indies for the most part. And the next thing you know, they start doing like cell phone style promos and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Which, most indie guys, everybody has a cell phone, so it's like I just should promo right now with a cell phone. All of a sudden, WWE is doing that now. So yeah, without a doubt, when it comes to being an indie company, NXT and WWE in general is definitely a better indie company than any indies out here.
But look who's running this portion of it. It's Triple H. It's a wrestler. It's somebody who's in touch now with your indie companies, who's reached out and made friends with Evolve and WWN, who's taking their talent and utilizing them, giving them contracts, giving tryouts and what have you, sending Regal, sending Smiley to scout talent in these indie promotions. So, again, Triple H has his hand on the pulse of the indies, but it's the upper echelon indies, and he sees that there is a fan base there that is more adhered to looking at indie wrestlers and how everything happens there than the WWE product, and he's tapped into that. So again, you're going to take NXT and the UK tournament by spinoff. You're not going to go big. You're going to go small, but you're going to make the small look huge and have everybody buy into it.
I'll tell you what, speaking of huge, this is the last one I want to talk about before we get into tonight's guest and everything. Speaking of something huge and stuff, Keith Lee made an appearance at NXT TakeOver. How big is that right now for you, Tamika? Is that a big deal, seeing Keith Lee?
Oh, bask in his glory. Oh, bask in his glory. That's huge. That is a huge deal. Keith Lee is one of, we talked about big men. He is one of the predominant big men that was out there on the independent scene tearing it up. He has been in every promotion, won gold everywhere. Most importantly, he has a following. He has a regiment of people who are behind him, who love what he does in the ring, and he's genuinely a great guy to boot. If Vince McMahon could have created a big man who can move and to put a heavyweight title on that is not Brock Lesnar, it would be Keith Lee. I do not expect to see him for a long time in NXT. I expect him to move quickly through the ranks and to be on the main roster sooner rather than later. It is huge to see him there. He's going to get off and have matches with Dijak, matches with Ono. Hell, I could see him going in there against Aleister Black, before he moves quickly and swiftly up to the main roster.
Now here's my question though, because I've always told people that Keith Lee has basically redefined what it means to be a big man in professional wrestling. He's one of the main reasons why you just can't be big. Why, if you're going to be a big guy, you have to be big and athletic. My question is this. If Keith Lee never becomes a WWE World Champion, never becomes the, what they call it, the Universal Champion, never becomes the WWE World Champion, is that considered a failure?
It is considered a travesty of justice. Not a failure on his part. The only thing he could do to fail is to not perform. I don't see him getting to that level to get to that opportunity and not perform. You talked earlier about politics. That would be politicking at its worst if for some reason he never achieved the upper echelon and getting the heavyweight title, whether it be the Universal or the World Heavyweight title. There is no reason at all that a man of his skill, his size, his personality should not be world champion in the zero.
I'm about to say, if Keith Lee never becomes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the Universal Champion, I think that we can go ahead and put the argument to rest that there would never be a black WWE World Champion. Like, out of really, in my opinion, out of all these signees, out of everybody that Triple H, NXT, the powers that be at WWE have signed in the last year, and I'm gonna go for the last year and a half. We'll say the last 18 months. This guy may be the top of the pile. He might be the best athlete, the best pure athlete, charisma, mic skills. He may be the best signing they've had in the last 18 months. And that's including Adam Cole and War Machine. That's including, who else has they signed?
Leo Rush. Well, I don't know how long he's been signed, but yeah.
Well, Leo's been. You know what? On that note, we're gonna have to rush. Yeah, we're gonna rush up out of that conversation right now. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. Huge shout out to our sponsors at Indie Customs. Be sure to check them out on Facebook at Indie Customs, on Twitter at @Indie_Customs for all of your wrestling merchandise needs and non-wrestling merchandise needs. While you're on your computer, be sure to check out our friends at Pro Wrestling World. Tell them that we said hi. And then once you get done with all of that, and you need something cool because you're with the Indie Customs and you like what they've done, and you want to show off to all the friends that you've made at Pro Wrestling World, go talk to our great friends at Behavior Driven so they can do a design, your own personal design for your own personal t-shirt and stuff, specifically for you. With that being said, we'll be right back with tonight's guest.
Do you like what you hear? Do you like hearing me and Mika go back and forth between ourselves and talking to some amazing guests from around the world of pro wrestling? Well, then be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/The Wrestling Nerdcast. Donate everything from $7 and up. And as your donations go up, so do the prize packages. Everything from a follow on social media to join our exclusive Wrestling Nerdcast Facebook group to being able to book your own podcast with a guest of your choice within reason, people. Because trust and believe, we're not getting Stone Cold or AJ Styles on this podcast. But once again, if you like us, please support us and spread the word. Thank you. Talk to you later.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I'm Will Huckaby. This is the Wrestling Nerdcast. And tonight, we have a special treat for you. This gentleman doesn't do very many podcasts. He doesn't do very many interviews. But if you've ever seen any of his promos, you know that he is very, and this is not to be insulting, he is very well spoken. He is amazing on the mic. He's an amazing storyteller. I've known this gentleman for a very, very long time. He is a former NWA Mid-Atlantic Junior Heavyweight Champion, a former NWA Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champion. He has won so many other titles. You've seen him not only in North Carolina, not only in Georgia and Jersey. You've probably seen him on Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. You've probably seen him on WWE television. You've probably seen him on NXT. This gentleman right now is the current reigning and defending Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment Georgia Wrestling Crown Champion. He has many names. Some people call him the Black Vegeta. I personally call him the Killer Weight. People call him the Black Cloud. Basically, you can call him whatever you want to as long as you don't tell this gentleman that there is no wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Joseph Black. What's going on, man?
What's going on, bro?
Not much, man. It's been a while since we talked. This is your second time on the show, man, but a lot of things have happened since the last time we talked on the show. You've actually moved. Last time you were on the show, you was a resident of North Carolina. Now you're living in the great state of Georgia, but the not so great city of Atlanta.
This is true.
Man, my first question, bro, is like, how do you? Because I drive in Atlanta all the time, and I just don't understand how you can deal with that traffic on a daily basis.
As I do not. I live in Marietta, which means I don't have to deal with the traffic unless I'm traveling to a booking, and usually I leave early enough to not deal with it because it is mind-rackingly annoying. So, yeah, fuck all that.
Well, let's talk about wrestling and stuff, man, because you've been doing a lot of big things, man. We're not even going to get to anything personal. Let's just say that me and you, we're not teaming up anymore. You know what I'm saying? The Sound of Fury is not teaming up right now. Not saying that it won't never happen again, but as of right now, brothers fight, brothers argue. You're doing your thing traveling. I'm doing my thing traveling with the AIWF World title, so it's no big deal. But you've been having a lot of big matches recently, man. You Eddie Kingston, Jimmy Jacobs. You wrestled Chip Day for the Georgia Wrestling Crown Championship. Like I said, you've gone to and wrestled for Booker T. You've been on NXT and wrestled. Well, who is it? Lars. What's his name? Lars Anderson. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, so what do you attest to all of this, man? Like, how is it, all of these matches and stuff, man? What's going through your mind with all the, I don't want to say good luck, because good luck, there's no such thing as good luck, but just wrestling for you in the last 2 years, man. What do you attest all of that to?
It's trippy because I remember, and you remember when you first started coming around CWF, man, I was a 128-pound soaking wet dude that with an afro. I was wearing Brass Monkey, who was my trainer, his old tribal pleather shorts, tore up boots. And I remember the chatter in the locker room because me and Trevor Lee were like the smallest dudes, but, Trevor knew the Hardys, so, of course, people figured he'd be destined for something. But it was like, yo, man, you're too small, this isn't going to happen, this and that. So the only thing I really had at that time was a promo. And I can think I'll go on record and be honest. I mean, fuck humility. But in CWF, nobody was really, fucking with me on the microphone. So I might have been the smallest dude, but I knew I had a voice that was powerful. So I just needed the body to match. And it took 8 years, dude, until the body matched the voice, and then the voice and the body matched the in-ring acumen. And then seemingly out of nowhere, I started working with Steve Corino, who put me in the ring with Adam Cole. And after that match, I was privileged to be able to work with Booker T on a regular basis. And that hook came because he saw the submission match between me and Chip Day in the Best of 5 series for PWX, and that blew his mind. Apparently, he wanted to book us. He wanted that match and that feud in Texas. I started working with him a little bit later, which exposed me to a larger demographic. And, of course, my work with AWE when we worked the Carnies, and, me working Stallion, who went on to the Top Prospect Tournament. So it just seems like I've always had these matches with these dudes who are on the cusp of breaking out, but for some reason it just didn't click for me. And you got all these vets and Hall of Famers and whatever their designation is saying, you got it, you got the look. It's just, it's with you, it's timing. So the opportunities that I got now, I'm blessed that I had them because it was timing pretty much. But, the NXT stuff was cool. Lars that's a strong, big-ass dude, and working with Booker T was always cool. And having a trial match in the SmackDown ring with James Drake was dope, too, with my buddy Cedric Alexander watching, and to get pulled to the side, both me and James, by the current World Heavyweight Champion AJ Styles was, it's going to sound corny, but it was fucking phenomenal. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more experiences like that in the future that are, that actually get a paycheck that matches that experience. But, it's cool. I guess I'm blessed.
Well, as blessed as you are, I'm going to have to take some of them blessings away because I'm going to turn it over to my co-host because I know a lot about you. But I know that Mika, you kind of intimidate her. And I know she probably didn't want you to know that, but she finds you kind of intimidating and stuff. I don't know why, but she has some questions. So I will pass it over to Mrs. Hashtag What That Mouth Do, Mika. What do you got for Joe tonight?
First of all, hi, Joe. I don't know why he act like you haven't hit him in the mouth before. If just seeing you hit him is intimidating. It's enjoyable, but it's intimidating as hell, okay? So, yeah. You talked about timing. Let's, for those who don't know, who can't Google search and all that loveliness, how long have you been doing this for?
Since 2008, I think, was the first time I was exposed to the independents. Me and this other worker named Eric Royal, who wrestles for CWF, we were in Greensboro. We worked at Walmart. We found out about CWF, and we went to one of the outdoor shows. We helped put the ring up. And for me, I didn't know anything about the independents, so it was mind-blowing that there was wrestling so close to home. Literally, the show was like 5 minutes from my house. And since 2008, I started off as a crash test dummy. Since I was the smallest guy, I used to do people try out their stupid-ass moves on first, and I've been hooked ever since. So about 10 years now, which is, damn, it's been a decade. Time flies.
I know, right? And when you sit there and think about, like, holy crap, 10 years. Before you were exposed to the independents and CWF, I'm pretty sure I have an idea, but confirm for me, who was your wrestling idol or idols? What were you watching that kind of got you hooked into wrestling, and who were you watching?
It started with Undertaker, most definitely. I remember being 4 years old, watching Survivor Series 91 when he beat Hogan for the title, and you know, a lot of little kids my age, they like Warrior, or, you know, I love Macho Man, or like Hogan. They like the colorful, larger-than-life characters. But to me, who was an avid fan of the Addams Family, who loved Edgar Allan Poe stories, I was drawn to Taker. So Taker made me love professional wrestling. So I guess if I had to pick a favorite wrestler, it would be him. Macho Man as well. I can't really, between Taker and Macho Man, it's hard for me to choose which one is my favorite. They both played an integral part in my love for this business, in this sport, whatever you want to call it. As far as making me want to wrestle, I knew Macho Man was about 6 foot. I knew Taker was 6'10". You know, like I said, they're larger-than-life guys. I knew I wasn't going to be that tall. So what made it more realistic for me is when I saw the WCW cruiserweights, you know, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, of course, Benoit, you know, Dynamite Kid and Tiger Mask. I was exposed to their matches early on, and my mind was blown that here are these shorter guys having better matches than these giants, which was amazing. So definitely, you know, Taker, Macho Man, Benoit, whose name is taboo, but to me, his in-ring work can't be tarnished. Despite what he did outside the ring.
He's going to say it twice on this show, so if our rating wasn't blown for YouTube or whatever, it's gone now. I don't know, can you say Benoit on YouTube?
I believe you can say almost anything on YouTube except for, like, I don't know, kill 12 people, so we're good.
Okay.
So you he just totally threw me off. All right, so I want to kind of sort of switch gears before I give it back to him and, you know, let you verbally dissect him, which, again, I enjoy. Let's talk about, because he said something in his intro of you that people may not understand or may not get. He said that you're very well-spoken, and it is one of the things, watching you and listening to you over these past few years, you're just incredibly well-spoken, and to the point where it's not such a black or white thing. It's just one of those things where your mind has got to be the most interesting place on earth. I mean, screw an amusement park. I just love to walk in your head for a little bit just to kind of get the background. What do you do outside of the ring for a mental stimulation, like books, movies? Where do you go? What's in that mind of yours that kind of just people would not understand or would be surprised at?
Man, that's a loaded question.
I know, I'm sorry.
Pretty much. No, it's a good question. I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. Pretty much, as a kid, I was an Air Force brat. Both my parents were in the Air Force, so I was exposed to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different patterns of thoughts. My parents didn't allow me and my brother and my sister to just kind of be complacent with one pattern of thought. Hey, you kids are black, so hip-hop and this and that. You know, I love hip-hop, but my mind expanded beyond that. So I got exposed to anime and, you know, Japanese RPG video games and Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and comic books. And as a young kid, I was reading Hawthorne and Robert Frost poems and Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm an avid Shakespearean actor, if you ask William Huckaby. I mean, I don't know what a Shakespearean actor is, but that's what he says about me, whatever. But I love Shakespeare. I'm a poet. I write plays. I write stories. I've written novels, which I have notebooks full of just thoughts that became things, I guess, stories. Music-wise, you know, Pac is my dude, but I also love Johnny Cash. You know, I also love Marvin Gaye and The Temptations, and I listen to everything, Depeche Mode, REM. I don't really have a designation of thought, because Oscar Wilde most famously said, to define is the limit. And reading that as a young kid in The Portrait of Dorian Gray, for those of you who don't read, it pretty much was my mindset going forward. To define is the limit. Why put myself in a box so you can feel comfortable knowing what to call me? And that's, I think, why people refer to me as crazy, or, you know, all these other, like, he's mean or he's this or he's that, because I'm a quiet dude, but I'm reserved. You know, a lot of people can't pique my interest mentally, so I don't have anything to say. It's not that I'm an asshole or I'm mean or anything, because if you can ask some of these young kids in the game, you know, whether it be Chris Bullitt or O'Shea or, you know, Darius Lockhart or Timmy Lou Retton, I'm, you know, I'll watch your matches and critique. I'll offer guidance that I can. I'm very accessible in terms of offering my thoughts. You know, my mind is such a jungle, so to speak, that my thoughts are everywhere. And for wrestling, I just kind of weaponize certain thoughts, and I pull from each of these subgenres of things that I'm into to make me the most, in my opinion, varied talker on the microphone. Before me, I think it was CM Punk. And then from CM Punk cutting the promos he was cutting to me, I don't think in this era, unless you dig up Nick Bockwinkel, is there going to be anybody that can get on the mic, whether it's a live mic, whether it's in front of a video scope, as Macho Man would call it, and just can offer you thoughts, because they're already there. All I have to do is weaponize my thoughts as far as, okay, this is the subject, let me kill this real quick. So, I mean, my mind is a book of all genres, all languages, all influences, just kind of palmerized into me, I guess. That's the way to explain it.
That for anybody who's not watched one of your promos, I don't think they'll get it, but I totally get it. Let me just go back. There was this one promo that you cut that, God, I don't know when we're going to see it, but damn, we need to see it. I think we did see it. I'm sorry. At Landmark. Do you think about what you're going to say before you cut a promo, or you just know it's promo time and you're just going to let it flow? Because some people, I think, write their stuff down. They kind of get in front of a mirror. What's your process when you're getting ready to cut a promo?
Let's see. Jay-Z once said he didn't write lyrics. He was in the booth and he felt the music and let the music dictate what he would rap. And Jay-Z is one of the greatest rappers of all time. So I try to do the same thing. Of course, early in the game, I would practice in front of a mirror or in the shower or on the road just to kind of get the diction down and to kind of key in onto talking points, inflection, all this other stuff. But thought-wise, it's just automatic. I don't try to think too hard about it, because then that's when you stammer, that's when you stumble over your words and your thoughts, because they're competing for, you know, it's kind of like when you go to Grand Central Station, there's this little opening and all these people are trying to go through at the same time. That's how my thoughts work. So if I'm thinking too hard, then they're going to get crowded, things are going to come out wrong, or they're going to not come out at all. So I just try to simplify it as much as I can. So if I'm cutting a promo on Chip Day, I already know I'm cutting a promo on Chip Day. That's all I need. This is my focus. So then, now that I have a focus, all those people in the Grand Central Station of my thoughts, they can kind of line up uniformly, and they just kind of walk through that opening. And then once we get into this big ballroom of a place, now they can spread around. Now these myriad of thoughts can become more than just words. But for the initial promo, you know, when Josh Wheeler says, this is the promo, this is how much time you have, that's all I need. I don't try to think too much beforehand. I don't try to practice or make bullet points. I just try to let it flow naturally, and that's why I think my thoughts hit a little bit harder, because they seem more natural, because they're derived from a place of pure passion. They're not derived from a place of memory, of trying to remember something. I just say how I feel. If I have no feeling towards a subject, I'll still give you a good promo, but you won't feel it as much. But if it's something that I can sink my teeth into as far as thinking on it and feeling something from it, I'm good. So I just try to attribute some kind of emotion to anything that I cut a promo on, and then I can go back in my mind and find something to make that connection mentally to that emotion, and then from there, it's just magic, and it's easy.
Speaking of easy and magic, he might be Puff the Magic Dragon. I'm going to let you talk back to Will Huckaby. He's big like Puff the Magic Dragon, I'm just saying.
And it's so funny, Mika, because you have dragon breath.
Not even. Nice try, though.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast. I'm your host, the incredible Will Huckaby, along with my co-host, Mika Villas, sipping on some of that real good Himalayan water blessed by Tibetan monks. And tonight's guest is the current Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment Georgia Wrestling Crown Champion, Joseph Black. Now, Joe, let's delve deeper into Joe and stuff, man. Because as a professional wrestler, being in the professional wrestling business, we all know that if you want to be successful, you gotta have ego. You gotta think that you're better than everybody else. So I'm just gonna go ahead and ask you, do you think that you're the best wrestler in your area, in your state, in the companies that you work for, or period? And what makes you think that you're better than everybody else?
Man, if I didn't think I was the best, how can I tell it to anybody else? I used to be this really humble cat, humble to a fault almost, because I would sit up here, and you remember this, Huck, I would say, yo, Cedric Alexander is the best wrestler in the Southeast, or, you know, Trevor Lee is the best wrestler in the Southeast. This guy's the best. And then that makes me sit and think like, yo, if I'm saying all these cats are the best, who's saying that I'm the best? And why would they say I'm the best? Because I ain't saying it. So I had to kind of remove myself from this place. And my whole thing is arrogance and ego usually is unfounded confidence, meaning you're confident about something that hasn't been proven. You're confident about something that's pretty much a theory, like it hasn't been written into law. With me, I mean, I've proven time and time again, you can give me a live boomstick. You can put me in front of a camera. I'm gonna give you magic. I'm gonna give you pure poetry without sounding contrived or forced. You put me in a ring, I can wrestle a guy like Eddie Kingston. I can wrestle a guy like Kincaid. I can wrestle a guy like Adam Cole. I can wrestle a greenhorn and make him seem like he's been doing it for years. So in my opinion, yes, I'm the best wrestler. And until these other wrestlers in this area, hell, we're going to go ahead and take it broader, until any other wrestler, period, looks the way that I do aesthetically, has the type of durability that I have physically, or looks like I do physically, for those who don't know what aesthetically means, and can put thoughts together the way that I do, and tie that all in with a wrestling acumen where you can wrestle anybody and make it a pretty damn good match, yeah, there's nobody fucking with me, period. And if I didn't believe that, I couldn't be mad when the fans say, yeah, Joe's okay. Because that's pretty much what I'm saying about myself. I want them to say that I'm the best. Because when I wake up in the morning and I can barely walk down the stairs, I have to be doing it for something. And if I'm doing it just to be one of the boys, one of the bubbas, oh, this guy is great, this guy's great, these dudes ain't going to sing my praises, so I got to sing my own. And then hopefully people pick up on the harmony and they'll sing along.
Now, speaking of your detractors and stuff, man, what do you have to say about people? Because to our fans and listeners, if you didn't know, and Joe was very gracious to let us know that no topic was off limits if he wanted to speak about it. So I'm going to go ahead and just call it out. You had some health issues earlier last year and stuff. You suffered a couple of seizures. What do you say to your detractors who say, you know, your wrestling style is reckless, that you may push yourself too much, or even, you know, and of course, you know, we're boys and we're in the locker room and you hear the people talking, oh, well, Joe, there's no way Joe doesn't look like that without having to be on steroids. That's why he looks the way he is. That's why he had a seizure. What do you have to say to those people who make those statements?
Number one, fuck you to the people that make those statements. Like I said, I'm pretty accessible, and all it takes is, you know, you clicking on Messenger and hit me up. I can hold a conversation without being offended. If you ask a question, you're asking it from a place of curiosity and not a place of prejudgment that you want confirmed so you can spread it around to your wrestling clique. The seizures were caused from high blood pressure. I have hypertension, which is unusually high blood pressure, and combine that with the fact that I was eating like a maniac and putting soy sauce on everything and teriyaki sauce on everything, and combine that with the fact that I was stressed the fuck out and I wasn't sleeping.
And the fact that you're black and, you know, being a black male, you know.
That's pretty much part of the black condition is high blood pressure. But that was all it was. I was pushing myself too hard with all these other things stacked up against me. I would walk I think it was 3.7 miles from my apartment in Buckhead to the YMCA to work out for 2.5 hours, and I would walk back to 3.7 miles. And not because I couldn't Uber there or not because I couldn't drive there, but because in my head, this is part of my cardio is to walk, 3.5 miles, one way. So when you look at things like that and you add that to the fact that I'm eating like an idiot and the fact that I'm stressing out and I'm not sleeping, of course something's going to happen. I was suffering, and you know it better than anybody. I would have migraines nearly every day. And then I would go and I would eat a whole pizza by myself. Or I would go and I would drink a whole bottle of rum. So eventually all that caught up with me. I mean, I wish it was as simple as, I'm on a lot of steroids. Because if I was on as much steroids as people claim that I am, then I think that those seizures would have been a little bit deeper and there would have been a little bit more of a payoff health-wise because, I mean, if you look at what a seizure does and you look at heart rates and all that, if I was on that much gas, my heart's already enlarged, I probably would have had a heart attack, and that would have been all she wrote. That's what took Eddie out, So I'm not going to decry the whole steroid thing, and I'm not going to lie. When I first started in the business and I was 128 pounds and I would spend $200 at GNC on whey powders and mass gain, nothing would work. Yeah, I dabbled in it. I'm not ashamed to say it. But for people to say that's why I look the way I look now, as if there's a magic elixir to just make you look the way that I do, it gives you the strength that I have, the endurance that I have, the durability that I have. If there's a magical super soldier serum out there that does all that, then there would be more people that look like me, perform like me, lift like me, because, I mean, steroids is a common theme in wrestling. So to those people, like I said, eat a dick. And also, speaking of which, I mean, one of the biggest side effects of steroids is that your member doesn't, kind of perform. Never had a issue in that arena, but I heard a lot of these other brothers did. Women talk. So try again.
I was going to get into that because you said you were a poet. you said you're romantic, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't going to lie, luckily we are attracted to different types of women, and the women that find me attractive don't like dudes like you. They like, they like their guys kind of fluffy and chunky. So I'm kind of safe in that area. But with all of this attention, but I'm going to ask this before I pass it back to Mika, with all this attention and stuff that you're getting now, how is it looking on the romantic scene, man? Is there a Mrs. Black Cloud?
Man, depending on who you ask, there might be a few. People like to gossip in our line of work because most of them are bitch boys. But a Mrs. Black Cloud, I mean, there's someone who has my attention, but as far as a missus, that's a little deeper than I want right now. Honestly, I just got out of an almost 2-year relationship with someone I thought was my soulmate, so I'm not really trying to hop into anything. Honestly, I don't know the headache that I bring because I'm very stubborn, headstrong, and proud, and I'm the type of dude that tries to do everything on my own. I mean, if anybody reads Greek mythology and knows what Atlas is, I pretty much suffer from the Atlas condition. I'm holding the sky when I really don't have to. So, I mean, I'm not going to write it off in the future because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not kind of there, but as of right now, I'm not really trying to go down that mystic road. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there is someone that has my attention, which that's why I'm very but that's about it.
Well, speaking of somebody who unfortunately is trying to get my attention because she has a lot more questions and stuff, and I think that I don't know, she might have been in for be Mrs. Black Cloud as well. Once again, Mika, what do you have for our guest tonight?
I like to be the scary one in the relationship, so no, hell no. No offense, just no. Sorry. Speaking of scary, you've been in the ring and had, a couple scary injuries, I would say, over your now decade of this. What was one of the scariest things for you, injury-wise, that you've had to?
There's two. I think I was 3 or 4 years in at this point. I was at CWF wrestling the Dawson brothers, and I went to do a flip dive. This is the reason why I don't do topes anymore, unless it's a suicide. I went to do a flip dive over the rope. The guy was too far back. He tried to catch my legs at the last second, so he pretty much power bombed me. And the floor at the old CWF arena was like concrete, so I fell about 7 feet. And I remember like a pain shot up my back. Yeah, I know you remember that, Huck. I felt paralyzed for like 2 minutes. I couldn't move because it went from intense pain to nothing at all, and that scared the fuck out of me. And at the time, the chick that I was dating was sitting right there from where I was looking up. And I just remember like, yo, I can't I can't go out like no sucker in front of my girl, man. I can't do that. So it took me 8 minutes just to get back on the apron. I finished the match, and then I did like an Evolve pre-show the next week. I don't know how I did that match because I can barely get out of the bed. The second one was, and this is a show Huck was at, was in Tennessee. I wrestled this kid who didn't know how to do a kip up. He did a headlock takeover. He went to kip up. He threw his elbow back, hit me in the nose, and broke it. I remember like just a flash of white, and then I remember something wet on my upper lip. I kept trying to wrestle. The referee had to push me to the turnbuckle and alert me to the blood dripping out of my nose profusely. And we went to the hospital afterwards. Turns out they don't reset noses because of some law, something the doctor said. So they gave me a Tylenol 800. I took it. I drank a little bit, and I left at night. So out of, I guess everything out of mild, I was drinking.
Oh my God, a Tylenol 800 and booze. The medical system in this country is fantastic. Let's go and say again. You talked about who you've been in the ring with, from Greenhorns to Adam Cole. Is there anybody on your list of people who you'd love to mix it up with, who you have not yet?
Oh, Sammy Callahan.
Ooh.
I would love to wrestle Shane Strickland. Who else? Man, if I can get to the Fed, I would love to wrestle Cedric Alexander again. That dude has gotten, man, I hate giving Kakarot props, man, but he's gotten so good. I would love to get in the ring with him now, because when we wrestled, it was 4 or 5 years ago, and we were both trying to find out who we were. Now that we have our identity, I think we can make magic. But those are the names that come from the top of the head: Callahan, Strickland, Cedric, maybe one day. I wanted to work Tommaso Ciampa like super, super, super bad before he got signed. Unfortunately, it never happened. Maybe it will one day. And Pete Dunne, I would love to get in the ring with him as well.
Okay. I'd throw some money at you and Callahan. That would be amazing. I think the violence would be fantastic. People you don't want to wrestle anymore. People who you're just tired of. And I mean, let's not forget about current company here. I'm not trying to stir the pot, but I just, I can't let this elephant in the room, and I'm not calling him an elephant. I mean, I am, but still, I can't let the elephant in the room go unnoticed. For people who don't know your history, and I'm just looking at his face right now, it's just killing me.
For the record, Mika, this is a true story. This is a shoot. I have defeated Joe more in the ring more than any other man alive. I hold more victories over Joe than any other man alive, for the record.
Do you?
Are you sure of that?
I didn't know that was like, yeah, that seems, huh?
Now I say you just kill
Is that a
him.
legit fact?
Yeah, I definitely hold more wins over you than any other person on the face of this earth. But in return, Joe has also beaten me more than any other person on the face of this earth as well. So, just saying.
Joe, are you interested in AIWF heavyweight title? I'm just saying. It could use a new owner.
I don't want nothing to do with AIWF.
Oh, why is that, Joe?
I mean, I don't want nothing to do with any affiliation, man. Like, I don't want to make it. I don't want someone to think that because I work for their affiliation and I'm somehow locked down working for them. Because until you're this man, and you're Bill Koff, you're signing me those big checks, man, you can't tell me where I can go and where I can't go. I don't want to be locked down. I really don't even want a contract right now. I just want to be able to wrestle everywhere, anywhere I want to, and have great ass matches. I want to sit at the table and be able to determine where I go, what I do. I want the Kenny treatment to where I got people knocking down my door. I don't think the only competition I have in the AIWF is Huckaby. That's nothing against anybody else that wrestles but let's be real. My sorry if you feel you work for AIWF for the offended. I mean, you can at me once, but it's Huckaby. I'm good. I love them way too much.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to let you speak back to my colleague here, the Michelangelo of the ring. God, I lie so good. Let me stop. William Huckaby, take it over.
Hey, don't you be trying to hate on me like that.
I'm not trying to hate. It's just easy. It's natural.
But see, Joe, once again, Joe, good help is hard to find. And if it wasn't for the fact that the network made me offer her a job, she would not be here. I just want to let you know that. That's why I tell everybody to send all solicited photos to Mika Villas. Anyway, I know our time with you is running very short and stuff, man. But I want to talk about this Sunday, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, because we can't say AWE. Atlanta Wrestling
We
Entertainment.
can say what we want to say. Fuck them in Florida. Sorry.
Actually, they're in North Carolina. I think. But, or Virginia.
They're in Virginia. You're both wrong.
That's what I said. I thought they were in Virginia. Anyway.
Fuck them in Virginia, too. Fuck them.
You let me answer my question. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment presents Cease and Desist, the musical. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment has already announced that you have handpicked your first opponent and stuff, and that will be Eddie Kingston. Out of all the people in all the world that you would want to wrestle and stuff, why Eddie Kingston as your first title defense?
Eddie Kingston has literally wrestled everybody who's went on to become or be considered the best in the world. He's wrestled your Tyler Blacks, who's now Seth Rollins for the uninitiated. He's wrestled your Bryan Danielson, who's now Daniel Bryan for the uninitiated. I've never seen someone go toe-to-toe with Chris Hero, who's now Cassius Ohno for the uninitiated, and be able to go blow for blow with this guy. So for me, if I can prove myself against Eddie Kingston, then I'm pretty much made. And I've always wanted to work Jimmy Rave, and in my opinion, Eddie Kingston is on that level of, if you can hang with this guy, you could pretty much hang with anybody. And I know me and him, we wrestled before, and I got the W. I wasn't really satisfied with that victory for some reason. I feel like me and him could tell a greater story. We can build a better story. We're in a better venue with people that will be able to appreciate what we do. I think our violence is more nuanced as far as it's a story, man. It's you know, Quentin Tarantino levels of violence, and I don't really have that connection with anybody else. So I feel my first title defense should be against the most legit guy, and if it ain't Homicide, it's got to be Eddie King. So I wanted to write that story again, put a stamp on it, and be done with it.
So let's say that he gets the W. What is that going to say about you? If, you know, this Sunday at Club Opera in downtown Atlanta, Eddie Kingston gets the W. What is that going to say about you?
That my title win was a fluke, that I'm not legit, that I'm not what I say I am, and what I say I am is the best cruiserweight in the world, excluding nobody. I mean, if I can't prove myself against Eddie Kingston, then what am I doing? I mean, I can wrestle a bunch of lower tier guys and get victories. That's cool, but at the end of the day, I want a seat at the big table, and Eddie Kingston has the seat that I want. So I have to be, and it's not so much a measure of if, because I know I can, because I have before, and experience is the best teacher. It's more of a case of I want to reprove what I've already, should have already proven to everybody, is that I'm one of the hardest hitting wrestlers, and I'm one of the best promos on the scene. Matter of fact, fuck it, I'm the best promo on the scene. Me and Eddie have a lot of parallels. If you watch our promos, if you watch our matches, if you look at our history, there's a lot more we have in common than I had with anybody else that's wrestled besides Chip Day. So, I have to tell this story on a larger stage. I mean, Cornelia was cool. That's great. That's a legendary arena. But to tell that story in opera, I got to. I know I'm going to be Eddie Kingston. I just need to prove it to myself. Fuck everybody else. This is more me saying, hey, Joe, we know you're dope, but now you need to prove it to them because they have doubts. They said Chip Day wasn't 100%. I haven't been 100% since I took my first bump in 2008. None of us has been 100% since we took our first bump. That's a poor excuse, but I have to prove it. If I beat Eddie, really, you're going to have to bring Jimmy Rave back, and if he's no longer affiliated, there's nobody else, in my opinion, who can dethrone me if I beat Eddie Kingston in the middle of opera.
Here's one more thing, man, because I know me and Mika was talking. We talked about it last week, I want to say. You're starting to be known kind of like The Undertaker, man, for having some really cool entrances. You've come out as Noob Saibot. You've come out as, the Silent Hill gimmick. At the Southern Fried Gaming Expo, you basically shut the Southern Fried Gaming Expo down, and I will say it to you on my own show. You shut that expo down coming out as a Sub-Zero. What do you have planned for this Sunday? Can we get an exclusive, and can you give us a hint of what your interest is going to look like this Sunday?
Man, honestly, dude, I had something planned because the theme is it's a musical, and one of my favorite musicals is Sweeney Todd. So I was going to do that. I'm not going to go into details about how I was going to do it because it was a lot more than just coming out looking like this dude. I actually had a production that I wanted to do. But for this match, it's Eddie Kingston, so I'm not really, I have to be in battle mode. So I'm not going to come out there as anything but the Black Cloud. That's it. It's no time for fancy entrances. It's no time for, heavily edited music. It's just time for me to get in there and get down and dirty. Anybody else, you know what I'm saying? Like, sure, was put on the production, but I don't want to take away from the masterpiece we're going to put on that canvas. But July 29th, Homegrown, I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be whomever I defend the against. Don't care who it is. I have something super duper special planned that's going to make every other entrance that I did look like child's play. And that I can guarantee.
Well, like I said, I know our time with you is running short, so I've got to ask you 3 questions that we ask all of our guests now to see, if we like you and if we're going to ask you to come back. So all you got to do is just say the first thing that pops in your head, all right?
Sure.
All right. Sheets or Wawa?
Sheets, man.
You never.
Come on.
We've had dudes say Wawa from Georgia. I'm not going to mention who. We've had a couple of guys from the A say Wawa and stuff. IHOP or Waffle House?
IHOP. Easy. I hate Waffle House.
What? How do you hate Waffle House?
The food makes me feel like shit after I eat it, man. I like IHOP. Get out of here. They're 24 hours too.
Bro, you gotta eat Waffle House when you're hungover, man. What is wrong with you? Oh, Jesus. Oh, he hurt my feelings. All right, and last question. You're in the car by yourself. It's after the show. What is Joseph Black's guilty pleasure song?
What is he? What?
What is your guilty pleasure song? Like the song comes on.
Guilty pleasure song.
Yes, I know what it is. If you don't tell it, I swear I'm gonna tell it. If you don't tell the truth, I'm gonna tell it.
Yo, Jack Sparrow by the Lonely Island Boys.
Oh God,
that song is the greatest song ever written.
Mika, you can look at me, Mika. Yes, I've one road trip. I listened to The Tale of Jack Sparrow 15 times in a row. No lie, he played it for 45 minutes straight. I almost broke my own radio.
Oh my God,
that song is awesome.
Oh God, I hate that. It's because of Joe, I know so much bad hip hop. I'm not even gonna lie. So much horrible hip hop.
Shabba Ranks, homie.
Yeah, there's a song called Shabba Ranks. I'm gonna send it to you, Mika.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, Joe, this is the part of the show where we let you get your shit in. So this is your chance for you to let our fans and listeners become fans and listeners of the Black Cloud. So give us all your social media and where you going to be at this weekend and any other big shows you got coming up.
Yo, this is Joseph Black Cloud. You can find me on Facebook as Joseph Black Cloud. You'll know it's me when you see my lovely mug and a profile pic. You can find me on Twitter as Black Cloud JB, and you can find me on the IG Black Cloud 37. A lot of Black Clouds, very facetious. As far as where you can find me at, of course, you can find me at AWE holding down the fort on Sunday against Eddie Kingston. After that, July something. I think it's July 8th. I will be in New Jersey for Wrestlers Live. Me and Adrian Armour will be representing the Hierarchy and Atlanta and the state of Georgia in Jersey against 3 other tag teams that are supposed to be pretty dope tag teams. I know Sonny Kiss is on one of the tag teams. Penny Silver is on one of them. I don't really know. But me, Slade, and Adrian will be going up to New Jersey to take the W back to Georgia. And after that, man, I don't even know. I know I'm special in North Carolina. I know I got homegrown. I don't know. I have so many dates that get tangled up. But I remember these the most important. AWE Wrestling Class. So if you're in Jersey and you're listening, come check me out July 8th. And of course, all you people listening in Georgia, I would hope that you're going to be at Club Opera. I already sold quite a few tickets just for me dressing up as Sub-Zero at a show. I mean, I'm just saying, you should come see the show, please. I'm not going to beg you. It's the best show in Georgia. And there's a lot of shows in Georgia. This is the best, with the best talent. So come see the show. Savvy?
All right, well, Joe, thank you. I hit the wrong button on my mic. Thanks for being the guest of the show, man. We'll see you Sunday, all right? All right. Have a good night.
Y'all too. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Mika.
Yes.
Things. There's so many other things that I want to ask Joe. And I think we just kind of do we're gonna do a 2-hour shoot video and just release it.
Oh God.
Because there's so much, even with just this interview and stuff, there's so much about Joe that a lot of people don't realize, don't understand. And if you know that about him, then you will understand him and his gimmick a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so intimidated anymore. I mean, I'm still intimidated, but I'm a little less intimidated.
I don't understand how he's intimidated by you, and I'm way more violent than he is, but it's whatever. Anyway, what you got going on this weekend, Tamika?
This weekend, are you kidding me? We are rolling into Sunday. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, Cease and Desist the Musical. I may be going at commentary alone. We'll get into that off the air for good reasons, but we'll see. Which means I will be free to do all types of crazy stuff. Like, who knows? I may just sing. It is a musical, right? But I will be prepping everything to roll into this Sunday, so I will I'm not going to go to any other shows. I might stop by on Thursday night at WWA 4. They're getting ready to celebrate their year in their new facility.
Has it been a year already?
Already about to be a year. They have a show coming up on Sunday, I believe the 1st, but you know, everything is kind of rolling into that. I went last Thursday and it was a pretty good darn show, so I might just slide in there again, because you never know who you're going to see there. They've got Darby Allin. Let me tell you, somebody you're going to like trip out on for their show coming up. They're going to have David Finlay Jr. Yeah, from New Japan fame will be.
When is this show?
It is going to be on a Sunday. It is Sunday, July 1st.
You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna message AR Fox, and I'm gonna get on that show.
Oh, well now. Okay.
Because me and David Finlay have a.
Well, you know. I'm sorry, he's already booked.
Don't give a shit. Me and him gonna have some words. Anyway.
Oh, I'm gonna stop talking now because apparently I'm getting I'm starting trouble as per usual. Haha.
Always. Well, this weekend, once again, it's another one of those, you know, for some reason, I don't know how it happens, Mika, but you know, whenever there's an AWE show, some kind of way I find myself up north the day before. So Saturday, I will be in New Jersey for Dog Championship Wrestling, where we defended my World Wrestling Grand Prix title against one Chris Steeler. Who is a really talented dude from up in, you know, the tri-state area and stuff. And then Sunday, I will be double shooting it. I will be at Mucha Lucha Atlanta at first in Marietta, Georgia, and then I'll be beelining it. That's right, beelining it down like I-20 or 85 or 75, whatever the hell that damn highway is, to Club Opera for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. So I got a bunch of crazy stuff going on this weekend. All the things, girl, all the things. Anything else you want to put over before we get off of here?
Nothing I want to put over. I will be seeing everybody on social media. Catch me on my Facebook, of course, Mika Villas, Twitter, Mika Villas, IG, Mika Villas. Don't send me unsolicited dick pics, y'all, please. I appreciate it. Thank you.
See, we just said unsolicited pics. We didn't say what kind of unsolicited pics. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our great sponsors, Indie Customs, be sure to check them out. On behalf of all of our friends at Pro Wrestling World, on behalf of our friends at Behavior Driven, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. On behalf of our producer, the man, the myth, the legend, C.W. Smith, on behalf of my co-host, the lover of waffles, the voice of speech impediment, the Adonis of affection, Mrs. Hashtag What That Mouth Do Chicago Win, the receiver of all things unsolicited, one half of the world's commentary team, Miss Mika Villas. I am your AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, your World Wrestling Grand Prix Champion, the disrespectful intellectual, the Southern Gentleman, the Morning Star, the National Treasure, and reality TV star, the Incredible Hulk, saying peace out and support indie wrestling.
Bye.